This is Peter Clark in Express FM on the radio show Playtime, a show that tells you all about amateur dramatics in your area.
Log on to our website, expressfm.com.
It's now time for us to speak to our special guest, Louise Hellier from Cole Productions. Hello, Louise.
Hello, Peter.
It's great of you to come in as well today. Thank you
Thanks
so
for having
much.
me.
Oh, it's an absolute pleasure. Now, first of all, you're called Cole Productions, C-O-L.
Mm-hmm.
So do you want to tell us why you're called that?
Yes, of course. So we're not your standard amateur company in that we aren't... this is a one-off production, and the musical we're putting on is called The Code of Love, which is based on the book by Andrew Linklater.
Ah, I've cracked the code already. Code of Love, C-O-L.
That's very good. So the idea is the name for the company, Cole Productions. It's Code of Love, so
that's the name of the show.
Yep.
And you'll tell us a little bit about that. But first of all, can you tell us a little bit of background about yourself? Because I know we had a little chat earlier, and you've written this from your own heart and everything. But just to give our listeners a little bit of background, what is your background? I know you were part of Portsmouth Players, for example. What else can you tell us about your past?
Yes, so I'm from Gosport, and I went to the University of Surrey in 2008, it would have been, and I've always had my music. I've always played piano, and I've always been involved with amateur theatre, and I actually did a maths degree at the University of Surrey, and while I was there I set up my own musical theatre group, the University of Surrey Musical Theatre Society, which is still flourishing year on year. We've got over 50 members now, and it's always nice to go back and see how well they're doing. But it was while I was at the University of Surrey that I came across the book, The Code of Love, because the story involves one of my lecturers as one of the characters in the show.
Well, actually, the real person?
Yes, that's right. Yes, so he was one of my lecturers while I was attending the University of Surrey.
What, a maths lecturer?
A maths lecturer. And so the story is about the, this code that gets deciphered by Dr. Philip Aston, but I can tell you more later. But so yes, I've been writing this musical for, it's been on and off for a couple of years now since I discovered the book, but in the meantime, yes, as you said, I'm involved with Portsmouth Players as well. I work as their rehearsal pianist. I've done the last few shows with them.
Right. So let me get this right, you're a muso, you're a musician.
Yes, that's right.
I've got that. And there you were at university doing maths.
Yes.
Which a lot of people say is very similar to music because it's all sort of connected, maths, numbers, music. Now, before you went to uni, were you a musician before that? Yes, I used to play piano for the Gosport Musical Theatre group and some other their junior section I used to play for. So I really started off as a rehearsal pianist in Gosport, and it's only since I've returned back to the Portsmouth area that I've been involved with the Portsmouth Players. What, you went returning back from Surrey? Yes, returning from Guildford, yes. And did you actually perform in any plays yourself? I have done, actually, but I find that I'm more use, as a rehearsal pianist, because, I think people can find it difficult to hold on to a rehearsal pianist as professional musicians have other commitments, so right. But it's something I enjoy more. Maybe one day I'll be back on the stage again, who knows. So you've written this musical, which you can tell us a little bit about in a minute. It's based on the book. What about Cracking the Code? That's right. And during the actual play itself, the musical itself, is there a full orchestra or just a piano? Or how are you approaching that side of it? So what will be happening is it's quite a small theatre, but I've decided to play myself live on the piano, and I've also got a fellow pianist also playing some synthesised strings and some other orchestrations within the whole set. So the music during the play will be live? It will be live, yes. Live, which is lovely, because whatever's going on up there, the musicians are aware of it and they both work together. Absolutely, yeah. Always fascinates me when people have to play to a soundtrack. If they get something wrong, how do they get out of it? It must be such a problem. Okay, so would you like to tell us a little bit more about the story? Yes, so the story of The Code of Love is about an RAF flight lieutenant who was called Donald Hill, and this is actually a local story because he was training at the Gosport Aerodrome, which is now HMS Sultan.
And while he was training as an RAF pilot, he met the love of his life, Pamela Kirridge, and they met at a dance there, and they fall in love, and and you think it's going to be happy ever after, but he's then sent to Singapore. And he's only meant to go for a year or two, but of course he's captured by the Japanese, and he is kept prisoner of war for 4 years. But during his time as prisoner of war, he kept a secret diary in a mathematical code, and all his secrets and everything that was happening in Hong Kong and in the Pacific while he was there. So, but it was when he returned to the UK, he was a different character. He'd gone through all the psychological traumas from being a POW for so long, and it wasn't till 10 years after he died that the diary was given, this mathematical code was given to Dr. Philip Aston at the University of Surrey, and he was asked to look at it, and he spent 6 months and eventually managed to decode the
he cracked the code.
He cracked the code. So the musical tells the two stories. It tells the two stories parallel. The story of how the diary comes to be written and produced, the whole life story of Donald Hill. But along with that, it tells the story of the 6 months of this man's life, Dr. Philip Aston, and what happened to him while he spent 6 months trying to decode this diary.
And this was your lecturer?
Yes.
The actual real person? That's
yes.
Fabulous. That's so fascinating. And just going back a little bit in time there, does anybody know why he wrote it in code rather than just write the diary?
Well, quite simply because if he would have been caught writing a diary, he would have been killed on the spot, because prisoners were not allowed to keep any record of what was happening as they were prisoners. So it was a very risky thing he did, even keeping it in a mathematical code. But it's quite interesting because he did try to, years after he was liberated, he tried to show his son how the diary worked, and he forgot himself. So it was a very difficult code to crack. It was quite a challenge.
So luckily your lecturer came along and sorted it all out.
That's
after
right.
6 months.
6 months,
of
yes.
his own life. So you're putting this on over there in Gosport. Would you be able to tell us the dates of the show and the contact details and
yes, so we're performing the 15th to the 17th of August, and we are doing 4 performances in total. So that's Thursday to Saturday. So it's Thursday, Friday, Saturday evening with a Saturday matinee. The evening performance starts at 7:30 and the matinee at 2:30. And you can find us at the Thorngate Hall Theatre in Gosport on Berry Road.
Right, and how much are the tickets?
They're £6.
With any concessions?
We have concessions of £5, yes, for over 65s and all students.
Right, that's the 15th to the 17th of August.
That's right.
Dates. That's lovely. And how are rehearsals going?
Yes, they're going well, thank you. They've been intensive, because we've got a variety of casts, from different societies, and they have their own commitments with other shows. So, but they've been very good.
And the summer holidays.
Absolutely. So, no, I'm very lucky to have a nice, dedicated cast to work with, and I think they've enjoyed it, and we're just looking forward now to the performance.
Right. So you've written this, and you're directing it.
Yes, I've got a co-director as well.
And you're playing the music.
Yes.
So you've got one of those very, very rare situations when someone's doing a musical, and instead of getting together with the musicians on the day before you open, they can actually be with the musicians throughout.
Yes.
Throughout the rehearsal period. That doesn't happen a lot. I know, because usually it's so expensive to hire an orchestra for an Amdram group that the first time they meet up, apart from maybe 1 or 2 times with a musical director, first time they actually get to rehearse is at the tech rehearsal.
Yeah, definitely. So it's easier in some ways, and I think we'll be fine. It'll work out quite well.
Right, and who have you got starring in it? Who's the lead?
So the one we have playing Donald Hill, which is the prisoner of war, is Edward Chase. You might have seen him working with the Portsmouth Players.
Right.
The one playing his wife will be is Pamela Kirridge. She's being played by Nicola Matthews, who you can currently see working with Fair Musical Society. And we also have Sean Ridley, who is the works with CADS and other groups, and he will be playing the lecturer Dr. Philip Aston. And there are many other characters involved, so come on down and see what you think of it.
That's lovely. If you could just give us the contact details one more time for people to get tickets, because I know they're out there now just waiting for it so they can rush off and book their tickets.
Absolutely. So you can get tickets either through the Thorngate Hall Theatre itself, you can either ring up on 07789 793 895, or the easiest way I would suggest is if you log on to our website www.thecodeoflovemusical.com, or search us in Google, and there's a link there of how to buy tickets. But on our website you can also find out more about the show.
Lovely. Well, thanks, Louise, and all the best for your first musical, The Code of Love.
Thank you.
That's lovely. My name is Peter Clark, and you've been listening to Playtime on Express FM. Thanks to my guests, Laurie from Hyads, who are putting on The Railway Journey at the Station Theatre, Hayling Island, from the 17th to the 24th of August, and Louise from Cole Productions, who are putting on the new musical, Code of Love, at Thorngate Theatre in Gosport from the 15th to the 17th of August. Thanks for listening, and remember to support your local Amdram group. See you next time.
Loving local business. 93.7 Express FM.
At JKM Motor Services, we're your local independent Volkswagen, Audi, Seat and Skoda